This guy. Look at him.
Did he come all the way to the door?
Yes, he's right here at the door.
I told you he wanted to come out here.
What the heck, dude? Wow.
Now he's like, should I go back?
Yeah. So my dog, we had to put him, I put him in our bedroom because we are filming a podcast right now. Obviously, you guys can see and hear. And he decided to follow me all the way here.
He's in the bed. Well, he's in there because he doesn't walk on the kitchen floor. It's too hard for him to walk on the kitchen floor because of his legs.
Yeah. My dog has basically this condition that's like akin to ALS for humans, right? Mm-hmm. Hold on. There you go. So it's been a while since we've done an internal podcast. It's been like 2 weeks. How are you?
Great.
I heard
2 weeks?
2 weeks, yeah.
Oh.
Well, we took off last week from the internal pod for reasons unforeseen.
Oh. Okay.
I heard you picked up a new hobby.
Well, sort of. Yeah, I guess.
What's that hobby?
Skateboarding.
Skateboarding. Wow. What made you pick up skateboarding? Couldn't have been a super handsome, amazing boyfriend or something.
Well, it was that, but I also used to snowboard, avid snowboarder when I was young.
Yeah, the 3 times a year that you can go here.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to ever do snowboarding like I did when I was a kid.
I'm saying you are an avid snowboarder, but there's only like 3 times in 3 days in a year in Wisconsin that you can go.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it used to snow a lot more when I was younger. It doesn't snow like that anymore. And it used to be much colder. And the hill I went to made their own snow anyway.
Where did you go to?
Sunburst.
You went to Sunburst?
Yeah.
I was a little Switz guy.
Sweet.
Yeah, I know.
I hated little sweats. Just kidding. I
Because
never
you
went
can't
there.
grind boxes or rails. Probably.
I grinded rails.
I grinded those.
Don't even.
I grounded on them.
I did tricks.
You did rails?
Yes.
No shot. I have to see a video to believe
You think that there was video back then? I was 15.
Yeah, I used to
That's
record
20
with a
years ago.
VHS tape recorder
I
back
didn't
in
have
the
a
day.
VHS tape recorder. Are you kidding me?
You're telling me that you did rails, not boxes?
Yeah, I think so. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it was cool. I was cool.
I don't believe her.
Huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Yeah, I did like jumps and everything.
Sweet.
Yeah. I was obsessed with snowboarding. If my father was around, you could ask him, but he's not. He's not here. So
Because he's,
dead.
yeah.
You could probably ask my mom too, my mom and my grandma, because my grandma lives in the city in which I would snowboard at all the time. Or my friends, Jessica and Andrea.
See, okay. So generally when people didn't really do something that much, that's when they're like, ask all these people to prove it.
No, I'm serious. I was obsessed with snowboarding.
I'm sure. I'm just kidding. So
Every year, my
What-
parents would get me a season pass for Sunburst for Christmas every year.
I was always jealous of you kids that could do that.
I got it for Christmas. It was my Christmas gift.
I know. My parents were too poor to give me that.
Jessica broke her pelvis snowboarding when we were younger.
How?
She fell.
Oh.
Yeah, she cracked it.
Her whole pelvis?
Just like non-displaced like pelvic fracture.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So what does that have to do with skateboarding?
I'm just giving a little intro.
I just want you guys to know how freaking cool I am. And when I was younger, and now I'm super cool because I'm a skateboarder.
I don't even know if I have any pictures. I have one picture on Facebook that was probably like the first picture that ever I was tagged in or anything on Facebook of me. Jess and Andrea went snowboarding. I think it was my freshman year of college. And we went to Andrea's parents' house like afterwards and like ate dinner or whatever. Her mom like made us food and stuff. And she must have taken a picture of us. And then Andrea tagged me in it. So every year it pops up in my memories. And it's like the oldest Facebook picture that there is.
You showed me that, actually.
I did?
Yeah, you showed
Yeah.
me that picture.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
this year you showed me that.
And actually, I don't even know. I don't think, maybe it was around for Facebook. I can't remember. Or if it was a picture of a picture. Like Andrea took a picture and like posted it on Facebook or something as a memory, but I can't remember exactly. I'll have to ask her, but it comes up every year.
Nice.
Anyway,
That's cool.
so
So we're gonna go skateboarding tomorrow.
so yeah, I was like interested. I'm not done telling my story.
There's no story here. You're just like saying facts.
And so then when you guys all skateboarded in Nashville,
Yeah.
and I was holding the heavy camera for like an hour and a half filming everything.
Precision, by the way. Great filming skills.
It was not my best day. I'm not
Really?
gonna lie. Not my best day.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it was good enough for people to watch.
Sure. It was.
And then yeah, so I was kind of like, damn, I kind of want to try it. And then I think I told you like, hey, I want to try it when we get home.
Yeah.
So then we decided to take the kids last Saturday, and then I was like, well, let me try yours. And then basically we were like, let's just rent you a board. And so we rented one and a helmet. And
Yeah, I said
was
let's
really
rent you a
fun.
board because you kept wanting to ride mine. I'm like,
Yeah,
dude,
I
I want
know.
to ride my skateboard. That's what I'm here for.
so then we're like, let's go buy one. And so yeah, I got my first skateboard.
Yeah, it's,
I can only like ride on it and push on it.
That's how
and
it
I
starts.
can kind of tic tac.
Tic-tac. Yeah.
Tic tac. I can kind of tic tac. And Caden is just constantly begging me to do all the cool things that he does. I don't know how many times he told me, he's like, go up the ramp, just do it. Like repeatedly. And I was like, all right.
You're gonna have to let him teach you. He's gonna want to teach you.
I know. We did. We let him teach me.
Yeah, I think it's awesome because I don't know. I just feel like there's so many parents that aren't really parents, you know? Like they don't do anything with their kids. They sedate them with like iPads and food or movies, stuff like that. And not that we haven't been guilty of that before, because we
Yeah.
definitely have, but skateboarding is something that I'm super passionate about. I have been my entire life. I've taken years on, years off type thing, but now that everyone, like this is something that everyone can get involved in, and it's an active activity, and we can go outside, we can do it virtually
Yeah.
anywhere. And so that really makes me happy. Like Saturday was one of the best days.
Yeah. Saturday was
Ever.
really fun.
Yeah. So
Really fun.
I think that's cool. And also like there's so many lessons to be learned from skateboarding too, that I think our kids are going to be cool.
Yeah. Well, we're working on his. I mean, she's digging her scooter, but she did ask for a skateboard at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, if she sees you skateboarding, she's going to want to do it.
Yeah. She wanted the exact same one as me.
Yeah.
So
I don't think we can give her the same one as you.
no, we can't.
People
It's
might think we're
inappropriate.
kind of interesting parents for that. So her skateboard is a girl deck. It's girl, right?
No, it's
Oh,
that's-
Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
She got a Santa Cruz deck.
It's a
and it had-
girl. It's a female skateboarder
Yeah.
designed it or something.
Which is funny because I was watching the vlog that I posted today, and you were like, "So it's a girl deck. It's a girl." I was like, "Yep, that's the company." You're like, "So does it have anything to do with females?" I'm like, "No, that's just the deck." This is a Sean Malto deck, I think. Anyway, her board is a bunch of like dandelions, like different colored dandelions.
like cartoon dandelion.
Yeah, like one is like flipping everyone off. The other one is like rolling a doobie. And then one's drinking booze and the other one's playing poker, gambling. It's just like
Yeah.
a bunch of degenerate stuff.
Yeah.
I thought that was
Funny.
pretty funny. Yeah.
And then the glitter, pink glitter, like tape or whatever goes on the top.
Yeah, which I have not seen until now. I've never
Crazy.
seen that.
It's
I've never
so
seen glitter
cool.
grip tape. Like every grip tape has some shine to it, but this is like outrageous.
Yeah, it's I had to do it. It just like fit perfectly.
Yeah, it fits the board perfectly. Her board looks really cool.
It
I'm not even gonna lie.
I
Like it
know.
looks really
So
good.
cool.
And like for me, I always like I used to care about the graphics on boards, but like I just don't anymore. I mean, I'm 30, so I don't really care about the graph. Let's talk about that actually. I'm gonna be 31 freaking years old.
What's there to talk about?
I don't know, man. I'm like pumped / kind of upset about it that I'm going to be 31.
What? Why upset?
I've been thinking about this a lot lately that like time is just really flying by. It's going by so quick, and I'm 31 years old almost. And well, I feel like they say this a lot about men in general, that like you find your stride when you're in your 30s type of thing. And it's just interesting how like things have been working out too, with the way like the gym shut down, and then I go back to, Winter's Edge. Go check it out, Pewaukee Winter's Edge. I go back to Winter's Edge, and then like I start suddenly getting, clients and stuff, and like making more money and all this whatever. And I've talked oftentimes about like how I think that if you're living in your purpose and like you do what God intended for you or whatever, that things start to work out. But like I'm 31 and I feel like I'm finding my stride again, because I kind of feel like I lost a little bit of myself the past 2 years. And like I feel like I'm finding my stride again. But what's weird about that is that it all has to do with things from when I was younger. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm like creating a bunch of content. This is what this is
okay,
what
I
like
see what
is
you're saying.
this is what is like I'm as somebody who like doesn't want to work for anybody else, but I still want to make a living and I want to like be happy with my life, right? Like I'm trying to make content my job. On top of that, skateboarding's back in my life. I've been writing music and recording music also. And it's like all these things that used to make me so full and so happy are like back in my life again when I'm 31, finding my stride.
Yeah. I mean, I think all the more reasons for the gym being eliminated from our lives, because it just opens up so much more time and like opportunity to do those things. Like
Yeah,
there just
which
was
is
no time for that.
what's interesting though. I've been thinking about this too. What's interesting is that hustle culture, grind culture, all this stuff is pushed so heavily on everybody, right? And like it's really easy to feel like you're not doing enough with your time, and like because of all the things that you see online. And then when you have nothing to do, the hustle culture and the online culture would make you believe that you need to keep doing more stuff. Just find something to do, which I think is true. But because I think so many people are just god awful lazy and they just do nothing, like just a bunch of do nothings in this world, right? But at the same time, is it worth doing a whole bunch of stuff if it doesn't fill your cup at all? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
no, it's not.
because
I mean,
I fell into that trap,
Yeah.
right, with the gym, where it was like,
Yes.
I was like, find something to do, figure it out. Like, you got to hustle, you got to grind. But it's like, it's almost pointless because it made me worse. And something like I posted on our story today, I've been taking like 30 minutes to, I think today was an hour and a half, to like write music and to just like put my ideas out into the world. That way, whether I release it or not at some point, the fact is that it actually helps me be more productive. Like me being able to create something and put my thoughts out. Like if I'm having like not the greatest time, like not the best day or whatever, and I like am able to express it in a creative way for me because I've been this way my whole life, I can get back to doing the work that I need to do. But like I need to let it out somehow.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to cry. I'm a man. I'm not going to cry. That's stupid. Like I'm just not going to do that. We should all cry. I actually genuinely have a very hard time crying. But so if I can get it out, I can move on. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that you found a way to like do all of the things that you used to love, but tie it into what your ultimate goal is.
Yeah, and what
nice.
what I think is like what I do think is interesting about that, and it's not just like me, right? It's just I've met so many people that have a lot of money or whatever it is, but they're so, how do you say it?
Empty.
Empty. Yeah. Like I know a multimillionaire, his marriage fell apart. His life fell apart. Like his kids barely respect him. They don't like him.
Who are you talking about?
I can't put it in here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
To me, he's like a great dude, but his love and his chase and pursuit for money like ruined his life. It fell apart.
Well, isn't that also something that you've talked to Steve about too? Is like the pursuit of money.
Yeah.
Can be
So that's
unfulfilling.
yeah, I think that my idea, so Steve told me that, and actually I could read it in text message right now because he just sent me something about this because I asked him about gambling and what
Tell
are
the people
thoughts
what
on it.
you learned.
Somebody came up to me in the gym today and was like, the Powerball's at 1 point whatever billion. The cash buyout or the cash out after taxes and everything is 525 million is what you walk away with. And so I said, I can't do that. They said, why? And I said, because of my faith. So I no longer participate in gambling or lottery. I never really was a gambler. Like I'd hit blackjack once in a while. But I never in my life went to Pato just because. Like I was not that guy. If everyone else was going, I would go, whatever. And so I said that I won't do the lottery because of my faith. And I just, the Bible says this. So I texted my mentor because we got into a little debate about it at the gym. Not debate, discussion. And I asked him and he basically just confirmed with me like, yeah, like you shouldn't because it's basically telling God that you know better than he. And it's he did, this is exactly what he said. It would kind of be like Caden saving up a gift or allowance money and coming into the kitchen one day with a gallon of milk he just bought. When questioned by you, he'd say, just want to make sure we have enough milk around here. You, of course, would be hurt he took it upon himself to provide what he needs.
That's like the movie last night. The inline aggressive skating movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. So we watched Brink last
He
night.
took it upon himself to make money, right?
Yeah, but the point here is that he thinks that like God would be hurt by it, and like that I would be hurt by it if Kanan came home with a thing of milk to make sure that we have enough milk, blah blah. One part of me was kind of like, I don't think that I would be upset by that. Like that'd be kind of like, oh, I'm glad that you took initiative to do whatever. But then if you go a layer deeper, what really is the problem is that your child doesn't think that you're going to provide a comfortable home, and that. Yeah, he's right.
Yeah.
He's for sure right. And so, yeah, he told me, he told me that. So anyway, I just think that, what were we talking about?
We were talking about the pursuit of money can be
Yeah, so,
leave you unfulfilled. And
yeah, it's because if you're constantly, and we talked about this at the gym today too, if you're constantly just on the pursuit for money, you will do anything for that money, right? Because in the Bible, it says the root of all evil, or the love of money is the root of all evil. Not money is the root of all evil. The love of money is the root of all evil. And so what that basically boils down to is that if you are so in love with the end result, the money, you'll do anything to get it because you're in love with that, right? So you would murder somebody, or you would, do just crazy things that people do for money. So, but I think the other side to this is that people also demonize people being rich or having a lot of money. And they're like, that person's got to be a terrible person, or they're empty, they're sad, whatever. I would like to believe that if you're in line with your purpose and with what God's purpose is for you, that if money becomes a byproduct of you doing the things that you're passionate about and that you love, and the fruits of that labor become millions of dollars or what have you, that there's probably nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's how you get there and where you're at when it happens.
Yeah.
So if you're doing things that you love to get there and it happens, cool.
Yeah, that can't be a bad thing.
No.
Right? Like that's I feel like he told me, he's like, we need to trust that God will give us everything that we need to provide for our lives or whatever. And I think that that's true. So like, if you end, like for this podcast, when we end up becoming millionaires, from doing the podcast or whatever. I think it will be a product of, we've been doing this for free. We will continue to do it for free.
Yeah.
We love to do this. We love the opportunities that we get, the people that we get to meet, all this stuff. I get my creative outlet from this, and from music, and from skateboarding, and from filming, and blah, 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 blah.
And we're just, you're getting, I haven't gotten any messages. So if anyone wants to tell me they're excited about the vlogs, but they tell Justin all the time.
Oh, but that's what I was going to say.
Yeah, like everyone's excited to watch
Right.
them, and like people like it.
It will be a product of providing value to other people.
Right.
And ultimately, that's what I want, is just to provide value. Like, you said, you were like, Travis is super excited about being,
Oh my God.
being able to skateboard or whatever, and that we went skateboarding in Nashville.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Travis was like I've never, like, he was a completely different person. You put him in the skate park and he was like so excited. It was so cool to see.
And so and I responded to you over text message, like, I want to be able to provide that experience for as many people as I can until I die.
I mean, even Polly, but like, obviously Polly's a lot younger. She was super excited to go. And then like Domo, obviously, like everyone was like excited to go, but it was just like wild to see like Travis, like, not that he's like serious, but like just like
a little kid,
completely let loose like a little kid.
Yeah. And dude, that's how we should be living life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, we should be living life like we're little kids. Mm-hmm. And
that's why I got a skateboard.
Yeah. And I don't mean that in the sense that, like, don't have.
I got a helmet too.
Good. That's responsibility. Not in the way that I feel like we shouldn't have responsibility or lack discipline or anything like that. But like, dude, so many people just get old and die because they are just so serious all the time. And like, they never do anything to let loose. And, you guys, like, so many people could actually say that about us because we don't drink and we don't go like party and do all this stuff or whatever. But yeah, I don't know.
I feel like the last year, especially for me, I think I have really, really like come to that realization of like, I don't want to spend my time doing things that I don't like.
Yeah.
And I want to spend more time doing things that like fill my cup. So like, spending the time with the kids, whatever, if picking up skateboarding is it, and it's like fun for me and it's fun for all of us to do together, I think that that's really cool. And that's something that like fills my cup, is like being with a family. And I think that I'm slowly like working my way to get rid of the things that don't. There's only one major thing that doesn't fill
work.
my cup. But we're getting there. I like to work. It's not that I don't like to work. I love to work. I've worked since I was like 13 or something. I don't even know how old you have to be to work at McDonald's, but my mom got me applying to a job at McDonald's when I was like the youngest you could be.
Yeah.
All I literally did was wiped off tables.
At
That's
McDonald's?
it. Yeah. That's all I did.
Nice.
When I started. And like, I think I had to sweep and like stuff like that. But anyway, I've always liked to work and I've always worked hard, but I think the type of work, so I'm like learning that the type of work that I'm doing matters. And my time commitment, like I don't want to be one of those people who just like worked at a job all day, every day. Not that I do. I have a very nice schedule. Like, I'm not saying that I have a great schedule. I work part-time at the hospital. This is, but like, I want to spend, like, I would rather spend my time like working on my business and like, promoting my business and like seeing my clients and stuff like that. That type of work fills my cup. Mm-hmm. And like, obviously helping with the podcast and stuff like that. Like, I want to be able to have more time for that. And then like work that doesn't, you don't get paid for is like taking care of the family. Mm-hmm. Like that stuff, like cleaning my house makes me very happy because our house is crazy. So it's like, if I can get it cleaned and organized.
Just like a good woman.
Oh my God. It makes me so happy.
Yeah. I think that, there's that adage that says find something that you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life. But that's so true, right? And I think that a lot of times too, we look at lazy people. Like there's so many lazy people. There's so many lazy. Like a lot of you guys watching and listening, you're just lazy, plain and simple. Like I'm not gonna like pretend. There's a lot of just stupid, lazy people. However, I think that a portion of that is because, actually, a big portion of that I think is because people are doing things that they don't want to do all day.
Yes.
So if I had to
agree.
do things that I didn't want to do all day, every single day, I'd be super lazy and want to brain numb myself with Netflix too.
Yes.
And play video games. However, I like to work. I've always liked to work, but I never, ever liked to work on things I didn't want to work on.
And I can 100% attest to that. Like yesterday, I just had the worst day ever at the hospital. It was horrible. And remember on the phone on the way from leaving the hospital, I was like, I don't even want to work out. Like, I just don't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm like, I know I have to. And then I went, and obviously I felt so much better after that and felt so much better coming home and doing something else. We watched this super great movie called Brink.
Brink, if you guys haven't seen it, is a Disney movie. That
Oh
was
my
made
God,
in
it's
like
so
the
good.
1990s or early 2000s. I know almost every single line.
He did. It was crazy.
It's an aggressive inline movie, and it is so freaking good. It's 50,
It is good. I did like it a lot.
It's 58 minutes long.
That's it. It was only
That's
50.
it. Yeah, because it was a Disney production. It was a Disney movie, and it was on Disney Channel. It wasn't like released at theaters, so it had to be short.
Okay.
You guys have to watch it. And also, we're finding ourselves in a place where we're actually able to watch movies now.
Yeah. I mean,
is pretty cool.
it was one of those nights where it's like, it was one of those days that like, I got everything done that I had to get done, which was work, my training session, and 12,000 steps. And it was not
She's in
pretty.
a deficit right now, trying to get lean.
It was not pretty. And I came home, and you basically just told me like, get rid of your foul attitude.
Yeah.
And then we watched this movie, and it was so great. It was perfect.
So I was a really good boyfriend, and I told her we can postpone doing the podcast last night, and I made her dinner and stuff because I knew she was having a bad day. Fellas, sometimes you just got to do it.
Look who's knocking at the door.
I know, my dog. Flex, give me a couple minutes, okay? We're almost done.
He's going to bark.
You guys are going to hear him bark in a second. He wants my attention really bad.
Yes, he does.
And you know that I'm trying to be a nice guy when I say that we can forego activities at night, such as doing the podcast, because I need to do the podcast every night.
Enough. So
That was supposed to be a sex joke, but it
what
wasn't.
were we
actually a
talking
joke.
about? I was going to say that I can attest to not being motivated or not feeling like good about doing something good for me, like my training session or whatever, because I was doing something I didn't want to do all day.
Yeah, 100%.
It's terrible. It's a horrible feeling. And I think people, like, I'm in full, complete, like, realization of this at this point. I think I had slowly been creeping up to that point. But I think that there's people out there who don't know that, and maybe like those feelings come out in other ways, like maybe affect their relationships or affect their health or like, diet and exercise and stuff like that, or they fall off the wagon with some of that stuff. And I think people forget we need to like take a look at like what is causing that, and is it what we're doing all day we don't like doing, you're not happy doing, or it's not filling your cup what you're doing all day. And like, I get it, people need to make money and stuff and like to survive. But I also think like you don't have to do something that you don't love or enjoy.
Right.
To a certain extent. I think you can come to the realization and come up with a plan and deal with it until you can, remove that part from your life.
Yeah, and I think there's always a period. There's always a period where you have to do things that you don't want to do.
Yes.
But and sometimes, like, not everybody is suited for the entrepreneurial route or anything like that 100%. However, I will say this. I had to go through, there was one job ever that I felt this way about, and that was when I was detailing cars. I hated that job, and I was doing it for the love of the money. I was making so much money at 21 years old. I was making so much money, and I didn't know what to do with it, and I didn't know how to manage money either. But I hated it, and it took 7 months for me to get out of that job because I hated it. I just told you this story the other day.
Yeah, you did.
It took 7 months for me to realize I'm not willing to trade my time for, or my happiness for money anymore, because the money I'm not going to take with me when, whatever. So then I end up doing this job where I'm training people, but I'm doing it as my own business because of Kirk at Winter's Edge. This is how the story goes. Detailing cars. One day I had to keep skipping training sessions. I was competing in powerlifting at the time. I had to keep skipping training sessions. One day I got to the gym late and he goes, "You hate that job." And I was like, "Yeah, I do." He's like, "Why don't you just quit and do this?" And I was like, "Do what?" He's like, "Train people. You're good at it. Just do it. I'll give you," he gave me my deal or whatever. And I quit my job. Even doing something that I wanted to do, though, I had to go through a period of suck and that I didn't like. And it was like probably 6 months to a year where I was lucky to make $1,000 a month, literally $1,000 a month. I was lucky enough to be living at my mom's house at the time. I didn't really have many bills besides my bar tab. And, I mean, that's the truth. I didn't really have many bills besides that. And, so then, but I hustled, like I really hustled. And thankfully it was something that I loved doing, was fitness and helping people achieve their fitness goals and stuff. And from that came the culmination of all these things that getting more knowledge, getting more certificates and doing all this stuff, blah, 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 where I've been lucky enough to make a really nice living before I opened that gym. I was making a very nice living working not that many hours.
Yeah.
And
we're back to that. We're getting back to that, right?
yeah, we're soon I mean, I'll be open about what I was making before. I was almost making
No.
Okay. I was making very, 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 very good money working part-time.
Yeah.
Which had always been my dream. That's everyone's dream, is to make really good money part-time and be able to do whatever you want. When we first started dating, I was in a hustle period again, though, because I was chasing cash. So I was working, I don't know, I think it was 5 or 6 a.m. until noon. And then I'd have my little break, and then 3 p.m. until 7 or 8. Remember, I'd come over and I'd fall asleep on your couch.
Yes.
I was hustling at that point. But again, it was something that I loved to do. So it didn't matter to me. It wasn't a biggie,
Remember, you were 175 pounds then too.
Yeah. Well, now I understand exactly why. Because being back at this gym, I'm walking so much.
Yeah.
I remember looking at my Apple Watch back then. I was averaging 20,000 steps a day.
I bet.
Yeah. Plus 2 training sessions every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And that included taking my dog for a walk once or twice a day too. So it was nuts. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, I think that there's so many lazy people. I think what that's a byproduct of a majority of the time is that people aren't doing things that fill their cup. They're not doing things that they love to do all day. And I understand that some of us are a little bit luckier, if you want to call it that. I worked my tail off to get to the point where I am now. For years, I hustled to get here, and it looks like luck for sure. Looks like it happened overnight, but it didn't. So, I mean, even if I started a new business like this at a different gym, it would seem like an overnight success, but people just can't see literally the years of training my brain and sales and all this different stuff that I had to learn and do in order to get to the point where I can make decent money part-time and work on a whole bunch of other stuff.
Yeah, it takes a long time to build a rapport with people and families and stuff and parents, and
let alone the skill of talking to people, the skill of selling to people that don't want to be sold. There's so many things that go into it. And so, yeah.
But I also think that this doesn't pertain necessarily to people who just like the entrepreneurs, like, oh, quit your job and start a business. Like it's not easy, trust me.
No.
But it also could pertain to people who do want a job. They do want to work for somebody else. There's other jobs out there. There's other careers out there. There's other, there's other bosses out there. So if there's something at your current job, but you're not an entrepreneur, you don't want to be, that's okay. Just, take the initiative to find out what it is that is the problem or the deal breaker, and figure out how to move on from there.
Yeah, I think like, though, a big problem is that we're sold this idea that, like, the American dream idea. I always like say that, but I don't really even know what I'm referring to when I say the American dream, because I feel like it's just not what it was before that everybody talks about.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I feel like the American dream now is like
house,
have a Ferrari and have, a house, like, but it used to be white picket fence, like a ranch, type house, whatever. I just feel like we're sold this idea where you need to find stability, you need to find a house, you need to have a family and all this stuff. And then because you have a family, and this is real, like, you have a family, you have a house, you have a mortgage, you have people to provide for, you have a wife that you hope doesn't leave you and cheat on you with the milkman. So you have to have a job. And if that job just so happens to be something that you hate, okay, you have to stay there, because what else are you going to do? Mm-hmm. But really, there are so many options to do things. Like, there's so many other options than just like staying at a job that kills you.
Yeah.
Because you're not just like killing yourself physically and mentally, like, you're draining your soul. You have one life to live, one life, and you're draining your soul on something that does not matter to you. I don't know. I can't imagine living that way anymore. Mm-hmm. I try to put myself in the position of, like, if I needed to go get a job, what would I do? And I just wouldn't.
I don't know what you would do. I don't know what you would do.
I just wouldn't.
I don't know what you would do.
I would figure it out. Like, I would find a way to not get a job.
Yeah. I mean, it's not for everyone. That that's definitely not for everyone. And being somebody who's in between, who has both. I'm my own boss and I have a boss.
Yeah, but see, check this out though. So you're in the medical field. Mm-hmm. It's not medicine that you don't like.
Right.
It's the environment that you're in.
Yes.
And I think that that's the case for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That
was my mom's recommendation.
Yeah.
Why don't you go get a job in a different specialty?
Yeah.
But I did.
Yeah.
I have a business in a completely different specialty, and it makes me happy.
Yeah, but the part that you're missing there is that, like, you decided to start a business instead of pivot jobs.
Yeah.
So you pivoted, but
I did both.
You did your own thing. So, like, for example, somebody might, like, somebody's passion or their job might be like finance. And they're like, well, I don't hate finance, but I hate working at a car dealership and doing finance. Yeah. I have to be here Monday through Saturday. I don't get to see my kid's soccer game on Saturday morning. It's like, okay, go to a mortgage company and do finance, or like go somewhere else that maybe you have a little bit more interest in, that's not so demanding. And oftentimes too, I think that people get stuck in the pay cycle thing, right? Because again, they're chasing the cash, and it's like, it's $5,000 isn't going to crush your wallet.
I've said this before, but that meme that's like, your salary is the drug that your employer gives you to keep you around.
Yeah, 1,000%.
And it is the truest. It is like literally ingrained in my brain now. It's the truest thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm addicted to my salary for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
100%. I am a little more, maybe less addicted than I think I am because of the kids. That's the reason, my main reason. But like, if it was just you and we'd be gone. I'd be gone from there.
Dude, we'd be in a studio apartment just chilling.
But the kids, obviously we have to provide for them. So that's like, but I'm 100% like fully, I'm addicted to my salary.
Yeah. And yeah, I thankfully, and I told you this the other day, I thankfully learned that lesson really early on. Like,
Yeah, you did. And you probably, if you've never really, I've been on a salary for 11 years almost.
I might feel different though if I ever had a job that was like 6 salary, full bennies,
Yeah, it's
vacation
hard.
time,
I mean,
all that stuff.
Yeah.
Because like I will say the one thing that as an entrepreneur, small business owner, whatever you want to call me, the one thing that I do find difficult is, dude, if you don't work, you don't get paid. And that's like the tough, that's one of the dirty little secrets that entrepreneurs don't talk about. They talk about you can work from anywhere if you have a laptop. Yeah, but if you're in the Maldives, you probably don't want to work. If you're
and half of your business is in person.
Yeah, for sure. And that's how I would prefer it, to be honest with you. I wouldn't want to run just like a totally online business unless it's like media based, like this type of stuff. Like I wouldn't want to train people only online.
Yeah.
That sounds terrible. To me, that sounds terrible. To somebody else, it might not. But I like the human connection, the interaction.
you're
Even
very-
all of my online
Very
clients.
old school.
But old school happened to help us out last weekend, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
We'll go there in 1 second. We'll go there we'll visit that for a couple minutes in 1 second. But even my online clients that I have, I Skype with them lately, not as much because I've been traveling a lot, but generally every week. I think it's important to establish that connection.
Yeah.
Old school saves. Why don't we explain it? How did old school save us?
I make fun of Justin all the time. He gets on the phone to call places of business to find out their hours. And I'm not even kidding you. He does not Google anything. He will call every place to ask questions. I'm like, just Google it.
No, calling is the way to handle everything.
So he had to call a couple of airlines.
Yeah.
The first one was because Heather accidentally did a Google search.
So Miss New School, who's older than me, by the way, wants to try to handle this online and figure it out. And
No,
she's,
I booked a flight. I did a Google search on a flight, and somehow I
She
think I
booked
hit like a best price calendar and thought it was still for my date that I wanted the flight for. Turns out it wasn't, and I found out while we were traveling like a couple weeks after I booked it, and I was like, "What? This isn't the day we're flying to
so
New
Miss
York."
New School is freaking out. She's having a panic attack about the
Because it was
fact
non-refundable. I was
Yeah.
like, "There's no way."
So
Like
she's
we're gonna
having
be
a
out
panic attack
$300.
about this, and she wants to try to handle this stuff online. And I'm like, well, I guess I'm old school, but I'm going to call and see what they can do, because interacting with a human, having a discussion with somebody is probably better than some stupid, the frequently asked questions or whatever. And then you try to figure it out through the link, click this, click that. I'm as much tech stuff as I do, I'm not very tech savvy, and I don't want to waste time. Wasting time to me is the worst thing that you can do. So I call and I handle it. And I get our flight switched with no fee.
He did.
Interesting. And then the same day,
Different airline.
different airline, the one that we were flying home on, our flights get delayed for hours. She doesn't want to do anything about it. And then I say, I'm going to call. And she's like, what's calling going to do? What do you think that's going to do?
We were in a touchy place. It was, well, not us, but like we just had a very bad Uber experience prior to this. And then I get a text message saying we had this terrible Uber situation.
Well, I'll tell you the story.
As I'm getting out of the Uber, the text or Southwest texts us saying your flight is delayed 2 hours.
This day that we had, this travel day, was magnificent. It was glorious. It was crazy how many bad things happen in succession of each other. But so she goes, what's calling going to do? What is calling going to do? And so I go, watch. And so I call and I get our flights rearranged.
Well, okay, so
We were lucky because our flight was delayed over an hour.
yeah, so
and
apparently
that's why we got to.
that's a Southwest
Yeah.
thing. If your flight is delayed over an hour, you can change it without any fees or having to pay points or anything. They'll change it for you.
So lesson here is handle it, call it. Especially, dude, I have to say this. If you're a man, okay, if you're a man and you're not deferring to your own judgment on something because you think whatever about anyone else, I have zero respect for you. Because just listen to yourself and just do the freaking thing. Just freaking do it. If you're a man and you're unwilling to handle an issue because it might be too hard or it might be, your girlfriend might get mad at you or whatever, dude, you got some growing up to you. You got to grab your freaking nuts and pull
any
them out.
type of confrontation issue that needs to be handled, I hand over.
I don't get it. And so leading into our Uber situation now,
Oh my God.
our Lyft situation. So I get the Lyft.
It was a Lyft, not an Uber.
I order our Lyft to go to the airport and I put Whole Foods in the stop before the airport. We get in the car and I ask the dude, are we going to stop at Whole Foods? And he goes, yeah, it's on the map. Great. Thank you. You'd think he would tell me what he was going to tell me at Whole Foods then, but he doesn't. And so we get to Whole Foods. I'm getting out of the car and this jerk has the nerve to say to me, you have 5 minutes. I looked at him and I go, what? And he goes, you have 5 minutes. And I go, dude, it's a grocery store. I can't promise you that it's going to be 5 minutes. How could I possibly know what the line's going to look like? And then Heather goes, babe, the clock is like, me and this guy are going back and forth. Then Heather
For a minute
goes,
and a half.
Heather goes, babe, the clock has started. You have 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Are you joking? And so I'm like, this dude just argued with me for a minute and a half on my time. So I run in, I'm looking like a maniac running through Whole Foods trying to get stuff. And then this is the craziest thing. He said that it was a rule from Lyft. But the craziest part is I get in line, I boom, check everything out. I had to get somebody to help me because things wasn't working. She tells me not even 30 seconds before I get to the car, he's going to wait another minute.
Yeah, he said, I'll wait 1 more minute.
And so I get out there within about 30 seconds.
And I even told him, I was like, he's on his way out.
I run to the car and I get there and he goes, they canceled your ride. When I tell you I haven't been this close to knocking someone the F out in 10 years, the day was just not great.
And so right
at
after
that point, I was ready to slap the dog crap out of this guy. The dog crap. I was ready to slap him into outer space.
He was not happy. And then as we were exiting the Uber that got canceled, we got a text saying our flight was delayed 2 hours.
Well, hold on. Let me just like talk this craziness real quick over because I get there, he cancels the ride, and I say to him, I'm like, don't you think that you like maybe should have told me this when I brought up the trip to Whole Foods in the first place? Mm-hmm. Like, don't you think that you should have told me that I would only have 5 minutes if we stopped at Whole Foods? Because I spent an extra $15 so that we could go to Whole Foods, which would have been worth it to me if we would have gone to the freaking airport. But not $15, like an extra $10 because we could have gone straight shot to the airport.
We were already at the airport, basically.
Yeah, we could have gone straight shot to the airport for like $10. My ride instead cost $22. And then it was going to be $30 if we would have gone back to the airport. Like, dude. So, and the fact that dude literally wasted my time, that he started the clock without me knowing, argued with me, and then I still had to pay for it? Bro.
He also tried to say it wasn't his rule.
Yeah, and and then there we go. It's not his rule.
Yeah.
But then we get into
Which I'm sure there is some kind of guideline for Lyft. And then it's to the driver's discretion to decide what to do, I'm sure.
Most Uber drivers also drive Lyft. Most Lyft drivers also drive Uber. And the next car that we got into, granted, he was an Uber driver. I didn't ask him if he also drives for Lyft. I have no idea. But he told us that literally, what?
He seemed to know.
He told us that the day before, literally, that he waited 22 minutes for this woman and her child.
Yeah. And he said that actually the official timer is 10 for Lyft.
Yeah.
I thought.
Uber. Or whatever he drives for.
It was for Lyft, I think, because we told him it was a Lyft, and he was like, "Yeah, there is no timer, I think, for Uber or something." And then whatever, if you know the rules or what we're talking about,
Comment down below.
Comment down below, because Justin's clearly still very shook from this.
I'll tell you, I'm not shook from the experience, but what I will tell you is that I cannot stand men who don't tell the truth, who prey on the weak, who are dishonest. I don't know. I hold men to such a high standard that when they do some sort of like really, man, I don't swear anymore, so this is hard. I hold men to such a high standard that when they do things that are like clearly wrong, I get so mad.
Yeah, you were very, very mad.
I get so mad because I could never put myself in a morally compromised position like that.
Yeah. And like I said, I do think that there is probably some guidelines for those drivers, obviously, so that there's some protection for them. Like, okay, you can tell them that it's this amount of time or you leave. But like, I literally told him you were coming out of the grocery store, and he's like, it canceled. It's like, did it?
It didn't cancel.
Anyway, let's wrap that up.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, anyway, I think this was a good one.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We got travel coming up. We're going to New York in like 3 weeks. 4.
What's
I think
today,
4
26?
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
We go to
26th
New
of
York
April, we leave.
in 4 weeks, and then right after that, like another 3 or 4 weeks after that, we're in California. I think we have off for June.
Yeah, break in June.
Yeah, that'll be nice. And then
Joplin in July.
Joplin, July. Do we have something in August? Yeah, Texas.
And New York again, I think.
New York.
For the... Yeah, isn't it at Rutgers?
What?
The
That's not in August.
Yeah, it is. It's August 24th.
Okay, well, more things than I know. So anyway, yeah, we got a lot of travel coming up. We got a lot of whatever. So, yeah.
Sweet.
I'm excited.
Me too.
Cool. Like, subscribe, do all that. We'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.
Bye.